Welcome back to NewOrleans.Football. It is the Tyler Shough Show. His second start is coming up this weekend, and we're going to break down everything you need to know about that and preview the upcoming draft class with my guy Damian Parsons from the Locked On NFL Draft podcast. This show is presented by PJ's Coffee, and it's coming to you from the Oshner Andrews Institute podcast studio. And if you're looking for a new car, make sure you check out my guy Matt Bowers. Best cars, best prices, best everything. Go check him out everywhere that he has a location, which is kind of everywhere right now. So make sure you're buying your next car from Matt. And if you want to celebrate your fandom beyond the field, Keesler Federal is proud to be the official credit union sponsor of the New Orleans Saints. They're a not-for-profit organization, meaning their members always come first. You can enjoy better rates, better fees, better everything, and get you everything you need to get one step closer to living your dreams. That's Keesler Federal, the official credit union sponsor of the New Orleans Saints. All right, first topic today, presented by Shaw Insurance. Look, this is going to be the second start for Shough, and I thought there was some good and some bad in that first game. I thought he showed good ability to climb the pocket. That throw to Olave, it was kind of through like the third throwing wheel window where he climbed up in that 2-minute drill before halftime, hit that throw. That was kind of incredible. Was throwing with the anticipation, which I think over time is going to set up guys for better yards after catch opportunities. But obviously there's a level of difficulty here that now enhances now that Rashid Shaheed isn't here. That's been kind of a safety valve for him, a guy that gets open kind of quick. You're going to have to replace that. Chris Olave needs to find a little bit more consistency. We're going to see what Devon Bailey can do. They're going to turn to him now for more production. And look, it hasn't really been there yet. It's been 39 yards through the first half of the season. They've kind of used him on slants. He's caught 3 of those, I think, for 20 yards. He did lose that one like in-breaking route that cost him 23 yards. But I mean, we're talking about 70 receiving yards then, 72 receiving yards, something like that, if that had counted. So there is a lot to prove there. Bailey obviously made some plays last year, and that's going to have to show up in this. And then also Brandon Cooks needs to get more involved. That's a place where they're going to have to see more production from the veteran. I think the good thing there is that it looks like Shough has some chemistry with Cooks. He's found him. They went out to Beaverton this offseason, had some throwing sessions out there. Maybe the fruits of that labor will pay off a little bit. But one area, and look, I think this might have helped Rattler more than Shough. Vele, a lot of his production last year came from like scramble adjustments. And I remember when I broke that down, it was something like 150 yards off those. And I think that's one area where he made a lot of hay, but it was kind of the same thing as it was here last year for him. A lot of slants, a lot of out routes. So they're going to have to get him going on some of that stuff, and he needs to show that he's a guy, man, because like that draft pick they put in him, and I've been harping on this quite a bit, but it's significant. It's a top 100 pick. Who's the guy, the Stanford receiver, Alabama or Elomore, whatever it is. He went to the Titans. He's making some plays. I think you'd rather be chasing it with him right now than you would a guy that's 27 years old and was a 4th-round pick. But is now a 4th-round pick, was a 6th-round pick. The Saints put a 4th in him. But you got to see some production there going forward. The opportunity is going to be there for him. He can change that conversation. Nothing's being defined today, but I think it is very important for Shough to go out here. And I think there's just a few things that I'm really looking to see from him. Like, I want to see that intermediate attack down the field. I think he did a good job with that last game. He went deep 4 times in the last game. One of them should have been caught by Shaheed, but Shaheed kind of lost the ball or something on their out. Very weird play. But I want to see that kind of like aggressiveness down the field. I want to see him get off to a faster start. Want to see a little bit more poise overall. I think there was a little bit of, jitteriness or whatever. That's kind of the knock on him coming into the league. So we got to kind of just see how he's handling those pressure situations and all that stuff. That's going to be big for him. And, I just want to see him, again, continue to push the ball and just not have these little moments where you're like, man, that could have been really bad. Like he almost had the pick 6 down when they were buried, I think inside like their 10-yard line. Threw it out on that 3rd down, almost got picked off, almost got picked on the 3rd and 9 to Cooks. They get picked off on the 4th down play. I didn't care about that one, but just want to see kind of that stuff come in. But I'm also not like the Cooks one. I'm not mad at. That was almost picked off. I think he squeezed it through a tight window. So kudos to him. But it's the third down one where he almost got picked. Like, those are the little plays where you're not okay with seeing an interception. I think there are situations where you're like, all right, he's testing the limits. He's seeing what he can do. He's pushing it. That's good. But I just want to see, that growth and that consistency, see him settle in, see him make some plays. You're going against Carolina. That isn't the Rams, and the Rams are one of the better defenses in the league. So that's a situation where I think you want to see just a little bit more production than they got last week. I think Kellen Moore needs to do him some more favors, get him going a little bit earlier in the game. I don't think they've done a great job of calling plays early on in these games. Carolina is a team that's allowed 205 passing yards per contest, which is kind of a decent amount. The Saints are at 203 now, and it's just kind of funny how the league shifted like that. Just people really aren't throwing the ball anymore. But Carolina, 316 yards per game. That puts them about the middle of the pack. They're allowing 22 points per game, which isn't terrible, but again puts them at the middle of the pack. The Saints are 27 points per game, so it isn't like it's a leaky unit, but I think you have opportunities to move the ball and make plays against these guys more so than you probably did against the Rams, who are allowing 15.9 points per game. Really good defense there. So just step up, take those opportunities. Maybe, you don't got to be there. You don't got to put the team on your back or anything like that. But, I think that's the thing over the next 7, 8 weeks, 9 weeks. You just kind of want to see a guy taking steps toward showing, you can win with them. Like, I think that's step one. You got to show that you can win with them, not expect him to be a fully polished guy. And then just over the next consecutive weeks, take some steps to show that, like, every now and then in a situation, you can elevate a team. Can you convert those third and longs? Can you score in the red zone? Can you get your team out of a couple difficult spots? Not all going to be on his back. They got to run the ball better. They got to do a lot of things to support him better. But there's going to be opportunities there for him to make his case. And I think this is a big game for him to start showing some of that. So we'll see how it goes with all that. Right on the other side of this break, Damian Parsons is going to join us to talk the 2026 NFL draft class and kind of what his thoughts were on Shough coming out of last year's draft. We'll be right back. Whether you're an athlete or just trying to stay active, Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute can help get you moving and keep you moving. You'll have access to the highest levels of specialized care, nationally renowned expertise, the latest equipment, and modern facilities, including a convenient walk-in orthopedic clinic when you need care fast. From the field to recovery, Ochsner Andrews Institute is there to help move your healing forward and get you back to what you love. Learn more at ochsner.org/ortho.
Rouse's Markets is voted best grocery store in New Orleans, best grocery store in Baton Rouge, Mississippi, Gulf Coast, Thibodaux, Houma, Hammond, Lake Charles, Mobile, year after year. Thank you for choosing us best grocery store on the Gulf Coast. Number one. Thank you.
Thank you.
The number one grocery store
in Mississippi, Alabama,
Louisiana. 1 million customers a week can't be wrong. Welcome to Rouse's.
I used a home equity loan from Keystone Federal to fix up the garage. Woo! Because living your dream means living your way. And the kids take off field.
It's not even game day.
The NewOrleans.Football show is proudly presented by PJ's Coffee. PJ's Coffee has some of the best drinks that you can find. They have locations all over the city. They have pastries and everything else you need to get your day started. So go check them out. I don't play favorites with our sponsors on the show, but one of my favorites for sure is RV Masters. You guys have been watching our show lately and you've seen our awesome new van. That thing is decked out. And the best part about it is I took it up to RV Masters and I was like, this is what I want to do, but I had no idea how I wanted to do it or how to get it done. And they took care of it from start to finish, brought me out for updates, were giving me new ideas, and they made it exceed my wildest dreams. And they will do the same thing for you. RV Masters offers full service RV, motorhome, and travel trailer repair. They have preventative maintenance and service packages for your RVs, your AC, your generators. They specialize in solar and lithium upgrades, satellite TV, and Starlink. They'll take care of you if you get into a collision. Whatever you need, they got you. And I can speak from experience because they definitely had us on our new van. I cannot vouch for anyone more than I vouch for RV Masters. RV-masters.com. Go check them out.
I believe it, I can see it. If it's in my sights, I achieve it. Ain't no leaving, no defeating. Show up, complete and repeat it. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Get game ready. Play Game Ready Scratch-Offs and Fast Play from the lottery. Win up to $100,000. Enter the second chance drawing for a chance to win up to $1 million.
Yeah, they want me to quit, I can't stop it. I'm out of this world, I'm like a rocket. And you can never be us. We not afraid of the pressure, cause we good in the clutch. Yeah.
Get game ready. Play Game Ready Scratch-Offs and Fast Play from the lottery. Win up to $100,000. Enter the second chance drawing for a chance to win up to $1 million.
Shough Insurance, the Earhart Agency, is a longtime partner on this podcast, but the truth is, I was advertising them to my friends and everybody I knew long before they ever jumped on this show. And I'm going to tell you why. Every 6 months, my car insurance policy comes up, and every 6 months, I get a call from somebody from there telling me I need to change it or stay where I'm at. They're shopping my policy constantly to make sure I am getting the best possible deal. That means money in the bank. And those are the type of people you love, because look, we all live here. We all know how it is. The insurance rates are out of control. You need somebody watching your back, and they actually really do it. And I was with them before they ever asked me to be with them. So they are people that you need to be doing business with. And if you are going to look up their insurance, make sure you are looking for the Earhart Agency. Those are our guys. There's a lot of Shough insurances. The Earhart Agency is the one you want. I can speak for them. Real life, real support, real good business, real money saved. Call them up today. Shough Insurance, the Earhart Agency. Hardhide flavored whiskey, Ponchatoula strawberry, and Chilton County peaches in your favorite bars, stores, and restaurants. Hardhide Chilton County Peach Whiskey is a blend of aged wheat whiskey, light American whiskey, and fresh Chilton County peaches from Alabama's Durbin Family Farms. And Hardhide Strawberry Whiskey tells the story of a small town famous for strawberry farming. A delicious natural strawberry-infused 86-proof whiskey for whiskey lovers. Just look for the red and orange bottles in your favorite stores, bars, and restaurants. All right, joined now by my guy, Damian Parson, to break down the upcoming draft. What does it mean? Should they wait a year? What did he think about Tyler Shough coming into the league? Can Shough be the guy? We're going to talk about that and more on this topic presented by Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant. All right, you guys that listen to this show, you know that like I'm not a huge like sports podcast listener, because like I know I work in the business. I know what people put into it, and I know a lot of people really ain't putting in the work. But I've gotten hooked on my guy, Damian Parson, right here, the Locked On NFL Draft podcast. Also does work at Bleacher Report breaking down the draft. I listen to the show every single day. The work pops out. It's evident. Saints are obviously in this situation right now. They have the number one pick in the draft. Don't know if they got the quarterback. So I want to bring Damian on here to talk some QBs and just kind of set the stage. Is this the year to take one? Should they wait? Like, is the guy there? Is there a franchise changer? So I guess just to set the stage, man, like who are your guys? Like, run me down with like a top five. And I know like by Wednesday of next week, like your number three could be five or five could be like, it's just kind of one of them weird years where it's just kind of a lot of movement right now. But, kind of who are the guys? Like, and maybe not necessarily the order matters as much as just kind of like the names to know.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Fernando Mendoza, anybody that's listened to the Locked On NFL Draft podcast knows I've been talking about him since summer scouting. Ty Simpson has elevated himself from Alabama. Dante Moore at Oregon is another good player that I like a lot. I do like Garrett Nussmeier, even though he hasn't had the season that we all wanted him to have at LSU. And then they fired the head coach, they fired the OC. There's clearly something going on that's not all on the shoulders of Garrett Nussmeier. And then one of my X factors, who's one of my top five guys, Taylor Green of the Arkansas, 6'6", 230, 235. The guy kind of reminds me a lot of Vince Young. Big arm, he can layer the football, but he's a really mobile quarterback. He's going to hurt you with his legs and what he brings to the table. And I think for the Saints, man, it's a situation of, some people might have been blindsided by the whole benching of Spencer Rattler. I thought Spencer was playing fine, but I understand the idea of, hey, we drafted you top 40. You were the 40th pick, matter of fact. Shocked a lot of people, including myself, when Tyler Shough was selected. We got to get him on the field and see what we had, right? And I appreciate that. Give him enough games. I always go back to what the Falcons did with Desmond Ridder. Instead of benching Marcus Mariota, who was not playing well that entire season, instead of benching him early to see what you had in Desmond Ridder for a 10-game stretch, you give him a 4-game audition, trick you into making him the starter the next year, and you bypassed going quarterback and getting aggressive until you had to wait until Michael Penix after paying Kirk Cousins. So you never want to put yourself in that position. So looking at this class, like Mendoza, man, 6'5", 220, 225, big arm. He's accurate. He's a quick processor. And I think that those are the things that translate to the league. Can you see it quickly? Can you get the ball out your hands quickly? Can you find your outlets, your hot reads? And I go to, he's lit up a lot of teams this year, right? The first big true test was against Iowa on the road. Iowa's always a difficult place to play, and they're a very good defense. They tested them. And late in that game, it was a close game, but I believe it was tied. Man, it was tied. It was a tie game. He threw a pick. He threw his first pick of the season, came back the very next drive. It kept sending zero pressure. And he beat them. He burned them on a slant. Like, put the ball right in front of Elijah Surratt, catch the ball, let his playmaker go make a play. Against Oregon, same thing. Threw a pick, came back to the game-winning touchdown. Led the game-winning drive with a 30-yard back shoulder fade to Surratt.
Yep.
Got into the red zone, threw that back shoulder fade on the fade ball. Just his ball placement, like, he knows where to put the ball. He can control. He has spin control. But it's also, I think it might have been, was it the Iowa game? It was his best throw of the season. Far hash.
The
whole shot. And I was like, yeah, that's what it looks like when you have the tools, man. And I think he's also mobile, right? A lot of people, some people call him from the Kirk Cousins. I'm like, yeah, my comp friend was Matt Ryan, and everything. And this guy can run, and when he needs to, he's not Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. He's not that type of athlete. But if you give him free yards, if you play man-to-man and don't account for him, well, ask Oregon. He did it last week as well against Maryland. Just key third downs. He gets plays with his legs and knows how to protect his body and everything. I think the Saints and keep Kellen Moore. I think him and Ty Simpson are the guys I think will be good fits for you.
Yeah, so I actually went out to that Oregon game because I wanted to see him. Like, if we're gonna be talking about like replacing one of these guys, like, I wanted to see him. I wanted to see how he carried himself before the game, like how the ball came off his hand and all that stuff. Like, Mendoza definitely looks like the best combination of kind of everything. Like, and there's it feels like there's maybe less downside with him too. Like, Dante Moore, like, man, looks amazing. Looks like a great thrower. I also went and watched Simpson and Sellers 2 weeks ago in South Carolina. I was a little bit surprised by like the stature though. Like, you see 6'2", whatever he's listed at. I don't think he's 6'2",
he's
man.
Probably
but
about
like
6'1". He's probably 6'1".
And I feel like I caught him probably on the worst day. But yeah, tell me about him. What do you like about him?
Well, man, with Ty Simpson, like, just one of the things I wrote down in my notes and in my scout report over at Bleacher Report, he's poised. He's poised and he's polished. You don't really see a lot of these quarterbacks nowadays in college have the pocket navigation, like just be able to climb the pocket. And watching them, all season and watching the film, you see a guy, it almost reminded me of like watching Brady and Peyton. Like, those guys climb the pocket. Like, you didn't see him drift and move so much laterally and trying to run and, do the ballet spin out of the pocket, it gets you in trouble and stuff. Those guys, like, no, if that edge pressure's coming, cool, I'm going to climb up. I'm going to trust my interior offensive line. You guys do your jobs. I'm going to climb and I'm going to throw. He anticipates throws well, but it's the work in the middle of the field. Same thing with Mendoza. Between the numbers is where you live and really die in the NFL. And, Russell Wilson probably is one of the few quarterbacks that has been able to win a Super Bowl, have success, and hate throwing in the middle of the field because he can't, visual. Like, he can't really see as well. But he's one of the few. 9 times out of 10, man, you've got to be able to throw the dagger concept, those any cuts, things of that nature. You've got to be able to hit the defense in between the hashes. And watching Mendoza and Ty Simpson especially, he loves to throw in the middle of the field. He loves to put the ball between the hashes. He layers it over defenders as well. He's accurate. And I go back to, I think it might have been, it's either Vandy or Missouri. It was like a 4th and 13, 4th and 15. They had the lead by like 3 points. They could have tried to kick a long field goal. They said no, lead the offense on the field. And he rolls out to his left and just throws a dime 30 yards down the field on a corner route, right there on the numbers, between the numbers, tight coverage on the sideline. His accuracy and ball places are superpowers. But this is a young man that also he's mobile too. I think it might have been Missouri where he had probably 34 yards rushing as well. He's a plus level athlete. Like he's more athletic than Mendoza, of course. So he can actually run. You can, in the red zone, you can do a little QB zone read stuff with him if you're, they'll have to play 11 on 11, hat on the hat. I just think this guy has good arm talent. Matter of fact, that Zach Wilson pro day throw, he made that in a game this year.
Yeah.
So like he's got a really good skill set and tools. The thing with him is that, he sat behind Milroe and those guys. He sat for his entire career, at Alabama. He didn't hit the portal. He should have, honestly, he should have got that more experience, but he's developed. I think he'll be 23 next month. So it's like, okay, if he does go back to school, you'll be a 25-year-old rookie. Some people don't really, some teams don't like that too much from their
Saints do.
Clearly. It took Tyler Shough, who's essentially 32 years old. But no, I think with Todd Simpson, man, the floor is good and there's still upside because he still has a lot more he can grow into the more reps he gets.
Are you worried at all about, like, and you just kind of hit on it, like, if let's say they go all the way, like, by the end of the season, he might have like 15 starts. And I know, like, the magic numbers, like, Parcells said 25. I know some people like more than that even. Like, are you worried at all about that number for him? Or do you kind of see, like, the polish already? And, like, I know his dad's, like, a D1 coach at, I think, UT Martin.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think that kind of plays into it, too, at all?
Yeah. I think for me, typically, and I was talking to a scout about this, and I was like, man, because at first I was conflicted. I was like, man, he's will be a 1-year starter, probably 15 starts. I was like, yeah, that's typically we want to get 20 plus 25. And he said, man, watching the tape, this isn't just your normal run-of-the-mill first-year starter. This isn't just that raw toolsy kid. It's like, man, you give me another year or two, we got something. He's like, no, you already have something with them. And for me, honestly, I'm of the old mindset, man. Have a veteran to start the first 8 games anyway. Let them take the brunt of the lickings. And if you got a real tough stretch out the gate, let them deal with that, right? Like they've been in the league 7-8 years. Cool, you take those lumps. Let the rookie get to learn what it means to be a pro. Let them learn how to prepare. Let them learn what you do and what you don't do by watching the veteran, by watching an established starter. Like Gardner Minshew is not somebody that you want as a long-term starter, but man, as a bridge quarterback, he's probably one of the perfect ones because he doesn't have an ego. He's a team-friendly guy, and he's somebody you can learn from as a young quarterback. So for me, either way, I don't give a guy has 35 starts. I still want a veteran to be out there. Give me a Joe Flacco or Gardner Minshew or somebody like that to start just at least the first couple games so that this young man is not trying to tread water. I need to know that you're ready to go before I put you out there.
And, I know every year we all do the thing where it's like next year's class. Like if a bunch of these guys do go back and then like Julian Sain's in there and like some other Arch finally had a good game, maybe he puts it together next year. Like would it be better to wait for like his next year's class? Like, do you really think it's gonna live up to the hype? Like we just did the same thing this year and then like Klubnik doesn't hit and that's why I mean, Sellers could be in next year's too. I think he probably should be. But yeah, I mean, like, do you see like the quality there maybe a year from now, or do you strike when the iron's hot and do what you got to do?
I think the Saints are in such a very interesting spot because they can go multiple ways with their first round pick. They got needs at multiple positions, right? Trading Rashid Shaheed, you need a new receiver. You got some other stuff that you could. Absolutely. I mean, truly for them, you look at what the Jets just did, went on their fire sale. The Saints could say, you know what, let's wait till 2027. And I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. If you want to run Tyler Shough and say, hey, you might be our best chance to get the first overall pick you got to get, cool. But you could also trade that first overall pick for a team that says, hey, I want that first overall pick. Let me give you a king's ransom. You get the picks for next year. You end up with two first rounders in 2027, 2 second rounders in the third. And you say, you know what? We have the ammunition to, hey, if we land at 7 somehow, we could package picks and go up and get Arch, go up and get a Darian Mensah from Duke. And that's a guy, personally, that I forgot to mention him. That's a guy I think should come out, like, to be honest with you. Like, I'm believing of striking when the iron is hot. He's a 2-year starter. He'll have 26 starts by the time if he goes to the bowl game, stuff like that. hopefully, some of these quarterbacks go to the Senior Bowl. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to him going to the draft because he's accurate. He's a gamer too, mobile, tough kid, like mentally tough as well. Accurate with the football, good, really good ball placement. And for me, it's just more so, if I'm a Saints, I just kind of, what's the risk reward? Like, hey, if we wait and we go back, we trade back, go BPA, we get to fill a need so that we don't have to do next year. And I believe in this. It depends on what the salary cap, because Saints have always been in a weird salary cap situation for as long as I can remember. They just found a way to get around it. I don't know how they do it, but shout out to them.
Mafia accounting, man. Yeah.
Yeah, mafia accounting, man. They got to have money stashed somewhere to take care of these bills. I've always been the mindset with quarterbacks. Build your roster up for one. Like, don't just, if you are a really bad roster, I don't believe in drafting a quarterback because then you're putting him in a tough spot to try and elevate a bad situation. You know what I mean? I'd rather make sure the O-line cheap. Make sure you have your receivers. You can run the football. Your defense, some stuff you can, all right, we don't have to have everything, but just make sure you have the bare necessities, right? Like, that's the main, it's just the same thing of like what they say with dating. If you don't have a good money, don't go out on dates. You know what I mean? Don't go out there trying to date a girl if you're, struggling to pay bills. So it's the same thing in the NFL, man. Don't go get that quarterback if your O-line is not. Look at what CJ Stroud's dealing with in Houston. You know what I mean? Like, and Houston has a history of this. David Carr. Like, we know what bad offensive line play with no weapons can do to a young quarterback. So I wouldn't be opposed. The 2027 class will have so much talent. It's just scary right now because we thought the same thing about this class, right? Like, we just talked about that on the podcast with Carson Beck. It's like, man, Carson probably should have came out after 2023. He went back to 2024, came back for 2025, and he's probably never going to get, he's not going to be picked around one where if he came out after 2023, he's probably a back end of the first round quarter.
No question. Hey, I met my wife when I was washing dishes, though. So sometimes, things just happen. Things just happen. Continuing this conversation presented by Aaron Rose. I'm just curious. So, what were your thoughts on Tyler Shough last year coming in, and kind of what was your scouting report on him? To me, kind of still everything I saw when I watched the college tape. That's kind of who he's been. And there was like a little bit of, he's kind of dancing with that danger a little bit last week in his first start. Almost had a bad pick where he kind of had like a panic throw on third down. Like, what was some of the stuff that you were seeing, and what were your thoughts on him?
Man, I liked him. I liked his game. I saw the ability to go through his progressions, go from 1 to 2 to 3. The arm talent was there. He's a mobile quarterback. He has the size, and everything. It was the panic stuff. That was the injury history, of course. People, because crazy enough, he was only like a true 1-year starter because of the injuries. Like he was injured a lot. It wasn't just like ACL tear or foot like nagging injury, hamstring. It was like, okay, you're out for the season type injuries with him, and he lost a lot of developmental time. And I felt like those hits and those injuries play in his mind every time pressure gets to him, and you see those cartoon, Looney Tune decisions where you're just like, Tyler, you can't throw that. And it's just, I don't know if you're going to be able to coach that out of him, because at the end of the day, you have to, and that was something I love about Mendoza at Cal. Mendoza would get hit, but he would deliver, just staying strong and still ripping. Tyler Shough doesn't do that. Tyler Shough feels pressure. He's moving, his feet get uncoordinated, and he's just throwing up a prayer. He's lobbing it out there. So I liked some stuff with him, but it was the injury history and it was the decision making under pressure. And I'm like, this isn't a guy that's just like new to football. He's just young. You're 24 years old. Like you're an older prospect. You're physically mature. I need to see you play with more toughness than this. And I get the injuries. You're wondering, if I fall on this collarbone, will it break again? Or if I fall the wrong way, when I mess up my ankle? I get that. But you cannot play scared. You can't play afraid in the NFL. And I watched him do that too many times with the pressure at Louisville last year.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Jarrett Stidham a bit. Like once he got the yips, like it kind of became a thing. And yeah, he kind of played like as if he knew the next hit could cost him his NFL career. Like if he got hurt again, like, and he was trying to avoid it at all costs. And I think he got some bad habits out of it. We saw that
for sure
in training camp a bunch of times. There was some of these like little panic plays and like little moments where you're almost watching like, man, can you play a guy that does that? And you don't want to make too much of like one thing, but like there were a couple little moments, and he was interesting to me because I felt like his 10 best plays were as good as anybody's 10 best plays, but then like the 10 worst were just like, ooh, man, I don't know. So yeah, I could definitely see it going either which way for him. It's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out. For me, I'm kind of smitten with Arvell Reese right now. So either him, I'm cool with Mendoza. Those are my two guys for the Saints. Damian, I appreciate you joining us on the show. Make sure you're listening to the Locked On NFL Draft podcast every single day. It comes out. Great content. They never get like too hyped up. That's even keel. Kind of what you heard right here is what the show is every day. Great listen. I start my day with it damn near every day. You guys should too. And then pop us on after that. We're going to hit a quick break and we'll be right back. Big news from the home team. Introducing our newest sponsor, the Mortgage Brothers. With over 30 years of combined experience, the Mortgage Brothers are the quarterbacks of home lending, calling the right plays to get you across the goal line. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned vet, they'll coach you through every down and make sure you feel like part of the team. They're backed by Cross Country Mortgage, the #1 retail lender in the nation, so there's no loan playbook they can't run. FHA, VA, conventional, RD, and more. They're lifelong season ticket holders, local guys who know the field and your market, and their online application takes less than 10 minutes. Why fumble your mortgage with some online lender who's never even watched your team play? Stick with the Mortgage Brothers, the trusted pros who play to win. Mention NOF and get $500 back in lender credit toward your closing costs. That's money back in your pocket when it counts. Visit mortgagebros.money and start shopping with confidence. Because with Mortgage Brothers, it's always no flags, no fumbles, just smooth closings every single time.
Score big with kickoff combos at New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company. Don't pass on your choice of our seafood combos or our slider specials. Served with a side of garlic herb fries. Run in now for specials starting at $9.99 at New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company.
I got hurt in a car wreck. Why should I get Gordon?
Because when you're hurt, you need money. And I fight for the people of Southeast Louisiana every day. I got a client who injured their neck in a car wreck, $250,000. Another client was hit by a big truck and needed back surgery. I got them $700,000, and they deserved every single penny.
That's what I'm talking about. Why wouldn't I get Gordon?
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, just call me, New Orleans. Get it done.
Call 504-800-8888.
You ever take a bite of something and immediately think, yeah, I'm coming back for this? Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant just added some new dishes, and man, they crushed it. The shrimp and crawfish pistolets, golden and stuffed with bold Cajun flavor. Fried oyster tacos, crispy, fresh with the perfect kick. And the soft shell crab Alfredo, creamy, rich, and absolutely worth the order. They're open 7 days a week, and they deliver late. Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant. Delicious food, superior service. Whether you are a local New Orleanian or a fan in town for the game, get your pre- and post-game fired up at Aaron Rose. Local chaos and local love for the black and gold. Wake up and live with daily drink specials, mimosas, screwdrivers, Bloody Marys, and hot or frozen Irish coffees, all just $3 or $4 between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Aaron Rose, half a block from Bourbon Street in the French Quarter, 811 Conti Street. Attention Saints fans, don't let pests and termites invade your home field. Trust the team at Red Pest Solutions to tackle those unwelcome visitors. Call the Red Man today for unbeatable pest and termite control. Score peace with no pest. Visit redpest.com, REDDPEST.com. It's now time for the Get Gordon question of the day, presented by Gordon McKernan. Injury attorneys, if you need help, make sure you get Gordon. One of the questions I've been asked a bunch of times over the last couple of days is, did the Saints do enough at the trade deadline, and or should they have done more, or why didn't they do more? And look, I think it's fair. I think I would have liked to see maybe like one more move to get another pick somewhere in that top 100, top 120 range. It would have felt like a little bit different, like there was more of a cachet there. But also there is an element here of like, I think some of the tradable assets, one of the problems is that they were kind of doubling up at various spots. So you trade Trevor Penning, and now if you trade Cesar Ruiz, who was rumored to have like some interest from Seattle, all of a sudden you need two guards. And if you trade Chris Olave behind Rashid Shaheed, you have two receivers you need now. Like, you have nothing left to attack with. If you trade Alontae Taylor, that was a guy that I felt like had some potential value and potential ability to trade him because his contract is expiring too. And I think there probably is the depth to overcome that one, where you play Quincy Riley, Kool-Aid on the outside and put Ugo in the slot. The danger there, I guess, is if like something happens to somebody, now all of a sudden you're probably playing Ike Yadim more, and you want to keep Ike Yadim under that 33% threshold, because if he goes over it, you're losing that 4th round comp pick you have coming for Paulson Adebo. So you're playing a little bit of a dangerous game there. But you also don't want to just be giving guys away either. But that was the one where I kind of felt like maybe something could happen. I'm not mad at him for keeping him. If they re-sign him, I still want to see him used more as that like multifaceted weapon that we saw him get used as the first 4 or 5 weeks last year. There was a little bit of it in this last game, a couple ups and downs there, but that's something where I still feel like, and we're probably always going to feel like there's more there. There's more creativity that could be used there, like using them like Jaquan Brisker or CJ Gardner-Johnson. Like I would like to see more of that than just like the traditional kind of corner type stuff. But yeah, I mean, look. I think that's one of the things. And then obviously, like, I think Spencer Rattler probably has some trade value. And if the Saints are moving on from him, and if I'm Spencer, like, I would have been okay with getting traded maybe to like Minnesota or something like that. But, you know, the opportunity has to be there to do it, and the value has to be there to do it. And like, maybe it just wasn't. But yeah, I would have liked to seen one more. The problem is that like you can't go all in like the Jets did, because like the players just didn't have that type of value. So that's going to do it for today's show. We'll catch you next time.